This is a map of Grant and Beauregard's journey and where all they went during this Battle of Shiloh. The Battle of Shiloh was in Tennessee. It's also known as the Battle of Pittsburgh Landing. The Battle of Shiloh started April 6th and it was a 2-day battle, so it ended April 7th of 1862, and it was the bloodiest battle of this point. I'm General Ulysses S. Grant, and we had just taken over Fort Henry and Fort Donelson, and then we were heading to Corinth, which was an important place for the Confederate cause, and my forces got there first, and we were waiting for General Buell, who was another Union leader, and as we were waiting, we thought we had plenty of time. We waited on the Tennessee River. Buell was coming from Nashville, and it was 20 miles from Corinth at the Shiloh Church.
Howdy, I'm General Beauregard. We were well aware that General Grant's troops were here, but since the rain was coming in, we couldn't get all the ammunition to come in with us. So on a day like today, we just decided to just give old Grant a surprise. Kept us from coming in.
My forces were taken by surprise. We were caught off guard, and we had been waiting on the Tennessee River. We actually had gunboats on the Tennessee River, and the battle began Sunday, April 6th, 1862. It was actually Monday before Buell and his forces arrived, so we were waiting, and many of my men and even the Confederate men had never been taught how to use a rifle, so it was very chaotic.
On this battle, we lost our dear friend and General Johnston. He was shot by a stray bullet in the right leg, and he bled to death. Very sad. God, when my guys told me about it, that they took him up against a tree, and they asked him, do you know who I am? And he looked up, and then he died. Very sad.
This is General Johnston, who was shot in the leg and killed during the battle, and this is how it happened.
Your head in your hands and breathe, just breathe, oh breathe, just breathe.
Do you know who I am?
At that point, and I took control of the Confederate Army.
These are the peach orchards where, as you can see, many of the men were wounded or laying underneath it. These peach orchards were blooming during this battle, which was very ironic because this was like the bloodiest battle of the Civil War so far. And these peach orchards are very beautiful, and the petals would fall and they would cover up many of the men that were wounded and laying beneath the trees. So this is a very important part of the battlefield. Here is a picture of the peach orchards, and as you can see, the men are very rebellious. They're fighting right now, and these peach orchards are blooming and they're very beautiful, which is, like I said, very ironic.
This is the Bloody Pond. After a lot of men were wounded, a lot of them would come here to get some water and to clean their wounds. A lot of men ended up dying here, and when they died, it turned the pond red with blood.
And this is a picture of the bloody pond.
This is the Shiloh Church, and this is where the Confederate Army withdrawed to the following day when Grant's reinforcements came in, and because we were just overran by Union soldiers, that our only place to go was the church.
This is a picture of the Shiloh Church back then. And this is a picture of the Shiloh Church now. It did not survive in the Battle of Shiloh, and it is now rebuilt at the National Shiloh Military Park. So the Hornet's Nest was where many of the Confederate men made repeated attacks on my forces, the Union forces. And so over here, this is where the Hornet's Nest were. There's some Confederate men making some attacks with their bullets, and some men even say that the bullets sounded like hornets zipping across the battlefield, so that's where the term Hornet's Nest comes from. And the Hornet's Nest was also believed to be the road called the Sunken Road, which was a very important place for the Confederate. And the Union fought for this sunken road. This is a picture of the Hornet's Nest where the Confederates are making repeated attacks on the Union forces. This is a picture of the sunken road or the Hornet's Nest where the Confederates attacked the Union forces on this road, and the Union forces fought for this road.
One story from the Battle of Shiloh was the very romantic story about Anne Wallace and her husband Will Wallace, who was a Union general at this battle. Will Wallace, was actually personal friends with Lincoln, and decided to become a general in the Union Army, and he was here at Shiloh, where he had been writing letters back and forth to his wife Anne, and trying to make arrangements for him to come join her. Some background info on them. He married her when she was like 18 years old. He was 29 at the time. They had adopted a little girl together, and they were very much in love, and she just really wanted to be with him, but he protested so many times, saying it wasn't safe, it's not safe for you. But the ironic thing is on the day that the Battle of Shiloh happened, yes, on the day this was going on, Anne had arrived by steamboat at the Pittsburgh Landing, where this was all going on. Yes, where all this madness, this chaos was going on. And she was told to stay on the steamboat, and she did. But later, as the war progressed, men would come to the boat as a hospital, and it was used as a hospital. And Anne found herself being a nurse, and she was always afraid to look up at the incoming wounded in fear of seeing her husband. Later that evening, Will Wallace was shot while he was on his horse, and as the Confederate troops overtook land, he was shot, and he was presumed dead for the day. And so the pastor here at the Shiloh Church, the pastor here at this church here, he went up to Anne and was like, Anne, your husband's dead. And she was really, she really fought back the emotions, and, she tried to stay strong for the men that she was tending. But as it turned out, he was found the next day barely alive. So he was taken to the steamboat where his wife was, and they try to tend his wounds, but sadly he died 3 days later in his wife's arms. He is buried in Illinois today alongside his warhorse Prince. On April 7th, 1862, the Union reinforcements came in. 54,500 Union soldiers came in and just destroyed us. There was only 34,000 of us. I mean, and we were just destroyed. And so the only thing I could do was order my men to go to Tupelo. And so that's where we withdraw, and we retreated to Tupelo. Overall, all the casualties were 23,746 casualties, either missing, wounded, or killed.
Obviously, the outcome of this battle was that the Union won, clearly, and this was just a great battle for us. So these are pictures of the Shiloh National Military Park. Congress established the Shiloh National Military Park on December 27, 1894, to remember the battle that occurred by the Shiloh Church and the Pittsburgh Landing. Fun fact, December 27th is my birthday. And this National Military Park is in Tennessee, which is where the battle occurred.
Howdy! I'm General Beauregard. A lot sooner, but oh no, I fixed my mustache.